We've seen an increase in our narcotic seizures across the board. Marijuana's up, heroin's up, outbound. We've seized more than 250 weapons going south and $5.8 million.
This right here is not your average pallet. So this is what brought suspicion. This is where narcotics are concealed. It was a drawer load and it contained fentanyl and cocaine.
We're now at a port of entry where trucks are being screened. It is amazing how ingenious the drug smugglers are. For example, thousands of coconuts were found to have drugs inside of them.
With all of this narcotics coming in and the sophisticated way that the cartels have of getting drugs into our country, you can see how important it is to secure the border.
We do so much trade with Mexico. All the truck traffic that comes through, they spot check about 20% and find within that 20% just 1% to where there's something illicit on that truck. This is just another complicating factor of all the stuff that tries to come through the border.
We're here at the international bridge that carries people and produce into the United States and then across, of course, into Mexico. We met with community leaders, mayors, city council members.
As to the immigration debate, I've been involved in about every major immigration effort. There's no way to do a package, small, medium, or large, until you stop the flow.
So it was a great meeting today with local officials who live and breathe the issue. This is a vibrant community. Legal immigration is the lifeblood to border counties. Because of COVID, we've basically stopped all travel from Mexico into the United States, and that's crushing the economies because they depend on people come to shop and tourism and just basic exchange of commerce. And my message to these great people is simple. Until we stop the flow, it's pretty hard to sit down and legalize people until you can convince the American people you've got control of your border. We have lost control of our border.
So this is a major port of entry. They're trying to incorporate a lot of technology into the process as well. And that's when we talk about border security, it's really an important part of it.
I think we also heard from the elected officials today from the city of Farr, Mission, McAllen, that they're hurting down here. The Biden administration has eliminated travel across the border for COVID restrictions, but he's lifted those restrictions for illegal immigration. The Biden administration needs to realize they've made a mistake. They're responsible for this crisis, and we all need to work together to fix it.
Now, back in 2006 is when the Secure Fence Act passed, which all of you know, it gave us 55 miles here in RGV sector. Now, just with that 55 miles alone, we saw an immediate impact. Unfortunately, this area, even though it looks complete, it's not complete. We're still lacking our cameras, we're still lacking lighting, we're still lacking power. If you see some gates, those gates are not powered. So if it's shut, it stays shut. If it's open, it stays open. Because of the pause, we weren't able to complete that.
Either President Biden believes in open borders, or the people he's put in charge of his border policy are not qualified to manage a food truck.
Just after President Biden was sworn into office, he halted operations for constructing the wall and securing the border. And it's not just about the wall. Now we have sections here. Unfortunately, we have open sections you could drive a truck through, and we don't have the technology to protect it from people going above it and people going below it.
This is how nonsensical it was, really, on January the 20th when Joe Biden stopped construction. He not only exposed the country to security issues by stopping construction of the fencing, but he also exposed these whole communities to flooding because the levee system is also not going to be finished as well.
Organization's the key to winning. Border Patrol told the new administration, just have a plan if you're going to change the rules. So they just dropped everything and opened it all up, and there's no plan.
On our tour today, we saw a car that just in the tires of one car had over $2 million worth of meth in it. It is amazing that we would even consider not continuing this project.
What this wall does is it slows people down who are trying to cross the border, and it gives Border Patrol time to apprehend them. But then you also have to have policies that actually result in stopping illegal immigration. Joe Biden reinstituted the failed policy of catch and release so that when you get caught, they let you go.
The day Biden was sworn into office, he signed 5 executive orders on immigration, invited people from all around the world to come to the United States, essentially saying if you get here, you can stay, which just is a conduit for people to come in. Once they get here, they stay.
Now we heard last night that they're trying to not only release people almost immediately, but within 8 hours.
This has been built in the last 6 months, and if you think someone's going to climb that, you got another thing coming. Everywhere we have built walls in America, or anywhere else in the world, Israel, the amount of illegal immigration plummets.
That there's no one who fears uncontrolled waves of illegal immigration more than lower income people, including many recent immigrants who live on or near the border. It's those people whose jobs, whose livelihoods, whose neighborhoods, whose schools tend to be most disrupted and threatened when the border isn't enforced.
The bottom line is, Border Patrol tells us that when we have walls in place, we see apprehensions decrease by 60 to 90%. It's just common sense. When Border Patrol can focus then on drug interdiction and catching the really, really bad guys, it helps reduce crime.
Walls work, fences work, wherever you try them, we have to finish this wall here.
The border wall is not political. That's what I tell everybody. It's not political. It's been made political, but it's not political. That's Border Patrol's requirement. We've had that requirement for decades. It's impedance and denial. It impedes the traffic, it denies the traffic. It forces the traffic to other areas towards the POEs where they're supposed to cross.
Our communities along the border facilities are being swamped. It's a humanitarian crisis. It's a public safety crisis. It needs to be addressed. But one of the things that will help address it is to finish the construction of the border wall. It is an essential element of our border security strategy, and it needs to get done.